Hey guys, and welcome to the Igloo today. Today I'm going to be showing you honeycombing for the next level doors that you're going to definitely need onto this game now. Because, I mean, bombs are buffed. We're all going to have to deal with it now because it's probably one of the more hardest things to actually defend against. So here's my biggest thing that I can do, and that's honeycombing doors. It takes 2 bombs now to get out a tier 2 door, and it takes 3 bombs for tier 3. So I wanted to get a little bit of this going. Now here's a link down below from the original honeycombing for Conan Exiles, even though we all take honeycombing from Rust. So there you go. And here's all my other links below for different designs to get to this level, which is the advanced level of building status to defend against bombs. Now here you can overlap within an overlap, and it's so great when you can get like a big tier door on top of it, even though a big tier door is the same damage as a small tier door. So choose wisely on how you use a big door and how you use a small door for your entry points. But here's the bigger thing, because I can get this spacing done because of the honeycombing, I can be able to get multiple doors. So instead of a 2 bomb raid, they would have to be making it a 10 to maybe a 12 bomb raid. Or you could use this as a checkpoint so that they would have to compartmentalize your defenses in order to get to even further into your defenses points. So I have like a big door right here, right next to a small door. So it's a checkpoint that you can actually make in this kind of regard. Now, it's a little wonky when it comes to the doors, when it comes to placing them down initially, especially when you honeycomb them this close. You have to put all of them down at one time in order for it to work. Because if you don't put them down all in one time, they will bug out and you can't place some doors, but you can place other doors. So that's the biggest thing out of them all right now. So be warned, be careful if you're doing this technique. Have all your doors ready for the honeycomb that you're going to have, as well as have all the door frames ready, because you got to place it all down at once. And it's better if they're all at one angle so that you can just close from the little space that you do have on that one side. Now, while I was trying to do the same method with the big doors don't work anymore when it comes to placing the big giant gates in the middle. So I would still highly recommend doing the small doors. Now you can't overlap and you can't put a big door and a small door within the same frame sets. I know that there would probably be a way to get around it, but here's my best technique right here. Now I would recommend having it too high so that the bombs can't blow up from underneath. So the raiders would have to foundation wipe the fences in order to get into your base. Because if you have it too high instead of 1, they're going to have to use their advantage. Otherwise, you're going to have to place your bombs farther away from the doors, which means it's going to be
You got the bow, right?
Yes, I got the bow. Who's the
Everybody,
other guy?
there's a guy on me. Oh, I'm a guy. I'm dead.
Fuck me.
I should get time to repair. They're all out in the river.
Yeah, I'm repairing. I'm getting like 3 frames, so give me a second.
Fuck.
Luke,
Can someone use our iron and put it on the blacksmith benches and
oh, they got me.
Iron
Got it. Oh, I got her too. Who is this?
Fight Club. Fight Club.
That's me.
Fight Club. Fight Club. Fight Club.
Alright, bro.
Fight Club. 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 Fight Club.
Josh, are you gonna...
So, as you guys can see, this design works out perfectly when keeping out defenders. Now, we got rated on afterwards within a 24-hour period, So, I mean, that's bygones be bygones. That's just on the server. But either way, now I figured out exactly on how to get another design while I was fucking with this design. I was just like, you know what? What if we can do this? So I did my normal typical spacing with as a honeycomb setup. Now I did a 4, so it took me a little bit longer. I would still recommend 3. Don't do 4 because then you have to deal with my little shit setup that I was doing right here because I was trying to get the spacing right. So this is technically, I think, 7 going out. You can also do it that way, but I would still just recommend 3. Don't worry about that. The other thing is to get the side cant done so that you can actually get the door to fit within a half of what this foundation design setup would be, so that you can set up a narrow passageway, like smaller than a door, so that you can actually have your enemies getting funneled from that one way. So they're going to have to come through as a trickle if you want to be able to do it, and you want to be able to have it as a 1x1 so that you can funnel your enemies into that disposition. And you can also use it as a trap, which is wonderful. So between those two different ways, this is one of the more highly recommended that I would do, especially since these bombs are buffed. So you want to have your spacing no matter what, so that you would have to make the raiders use more bombs than they would normally need to, because they're not going to be thinking, oh, I need to be worried about my spacing when it comes to these bombs. No, because proximity damage. It's always going to be proximity damage whenever you're going to be handling with this, no matter the distance. So once you get your door right, now I would recommend building in tier 1, just like I always do, so that you can get your spacing right before you put your tier 2 or tier 3 down, so that you have everything exactly right. Never build tier 1, tier 2. Now don't also put it on the other side of this door frame. Put it on the wall side or fence foundation if you're able to get a fence foundation into that side. Then you should definitely build around the whole structure until you have a foundation on the other side, so you don't have to worry about the spacing with the door, because that's a pain in the ass. Dealing with the honeycomb back and forth technique would be more recommended for this kind of setup, so that you use as little amount of resources as you can if you have the spacing for it, depending on where you build. It's all about proximity to on how you build, where you build, and how you build it is the biggest way of dealing with almost every scenario. So, going back and doing my honeycomb, I'm trying to get the spacing right on the other side, since I'm basing it off the spacing that I had on the other previous side. So as soon as I get it close enough, you can still put your door frame as long as they are not touching. Like right here, I have probably maybe 1 or 2 centimeters apart on this side compared to the other side. So it even works better on this side than it would on the other side, because there's still that little bit of spacing that you have. Now, I would not recommend on the 1 level. I would recommend building up 2 levels, so now you have a proper trap, and they're going to have to go into that to actually see exactly what's going on. So once you have this set up, you just build up and go from there. Now, if you want to have it as a 1x1 alleyway, go for it, because then you'll only trap a few people, but be warned, you can still jump across even with a ceiling above it. So I highly recommend, if you want to make sure so that nobody can get in, and you want to be able to foundation wipe it, go and use this method as well, because this method right here, with it being 2 long, makes it easier than 1 long, as you're about to see here. And make sure, for the other thing that you have, is that you pre-damage the shelf that we're about to put in, because you can't jump across it every single time, and then also you have to worry about rubber banding. So once you have a pre-damaged shelf or anything like that, because once it gets inside, even when the bomb goes off and the door's off, it only takes 10 damage from a shelf. So you got to be warned about on how you use your shelves and how you design the shelves in order to do it. That's why I pre-damage almost everything to 20 or 10 to make them think that they have the chance to jump that. Otherwise, they can still do it. Now, if again you use this as a 1x1, they can still jump across, and they can still fall into a trap, because it'll just get to another layer of your defense. So now you have to worry about this level of defense on top of everything else. Again, pre-damaging helps if your server dictates it. If your server dictates that you can't have it, I would recommend to have a vase or something like that. Something with a low HP, and then you can stack them. There's multiple ways of doing this, but be creative. Think about maybe a chair. Maybe you can stack chairs. Maybe you stack a bunch of permabeds at the bottom. Do something that can make it coalescence. Because if you can get them to think, like, why are they doing it this way? How can you make it do it this way? Until they fix stacking beds, of course. But again, here's the most important thing. Priority damage comes for the doors. Secondary and then third damage comes to the closest proximity foundation to what you're placing towards. So this is how the new bombs are going to be. You can triple stack these bombs if you want to, but again, it's all about spacing. Now you're seeing on how many bombs I am now doing for just 2 doors right now, with a spacing of 1, if you're able to, with this kind of staggered technique. So now you have to worry about this. Oh wait, the foundation blew! Look, now you're going to have to jump stack to get in there. But now the door's destroyed on the other side as well. So now you have to jump stack to get up there, 1. 2, you would have to jump stack again to get into the door frame. And 3, if you get past that point, now you're going to have to fight the defenders. So this is why, if you want to be able to defend yourself properly, and you want to get away from that one person that can get all the way into that defense, it only funnels your enemy to come from a certain way. And what I recommend, as always, to make quick disconnects and quick connects for the defenders so that you can drop down from above. I can't get it from this standpoint because I'm building in the open so that you guys can see. But here is the level 2 design where it's too long. So if you don't want people to raid you in the traditional way now, what I would recommend is having this setup so that now the defenders, the raiders, have to come and they have to use up to 40 bombs for just one section. Now, I would recommend, on top of everything else for this disposition, is that tie it with the wall stacking. Make it so that you not only have to jump past in one section, but then you wall stack. So again, they're going to have the foundation wipe it to get into your base, or anything else. Again, this is for non-god servers, so if you want to build a lot bigger, I would recommend it if it's not a god server. But if it's on a god server, you're going to have to design it this certain way no matter what. Because it is one of the most strongest after the buff. Especially now you can trap them at the bottom. You'll have the spacing with a foundation. You'll be good to go. They might just have their fucking heads between their tails and just run away. So again, one of the easiest ways to defend your base, and it's even cheaper than stairs, because it's literally 2 shaped wood to make 1 shelf. And for this whole technique right here, 6 shaped wood. 6 shaped wood is so easy. Now, we have a new design which I've been working on, which is the pillar design. So you can stack them close enough if you can build high right next to the setup. And it's very easy and pretty straightforward. As long as you get your spacing right, you can fit 3 wide pillar foundations right next to one another. Honestly, you can use foundations, a fence foundation, to actually get everything else done, and that would actually make more sense to me. But if you don't have those resources and you don't know it, it's still there. Please leave a comment down below, and comment, because I love my building videos. Have a good one, guys.